like to invite Kim and Kari up now for our time for all ages.
Thank you so much for welcoming us here. And I think we'd like to start out just by inviting 3 volunteers with the hearts of children in you to come up and partake in our little activity.
And just in case you're wondering what that activity is before you volunteer, we're going to be talking about mindful nature connection today. Oh, let me take off my mask. It might help. Is that better? Okay, sorry about that. It's been an interesting process of, as a hearing impaired person, having my hearing aids and the mask, because I'm also immunocompromised, navigating everything. But so today we're going to be exploring mindful nature connection. And so for our Young at Heart activity, we'd like 3 volunteers to come and see what calls out to you on the perimeter of our display here. We've got plants, I think we have petrified wood, we have shells and stones. And so one of the key components of mindful nature connection is being present through opening the senses. And so if you volunteer, we will ask you to open your senses and share one thought, one idea of what you are noticing when you open a sense. It could be sense of sight, touch, smell, just about anything. So do we have 3 people who are feeling young at heart today? Oh, good, I see some movement in the audience. We just need a couple. Wonderful. And just take a look and see what calls out to you. We call this, a really a process of discernment. What is it that you need right now? What is calling out to you? This is the beginning part of communication with nature.
So I'll just go and you can just know what you
recognize this as brain because I was recently snorkeling my mother in the Keys, and I love when it's live, and here it is many years. Oh, this is a piece of brain coral that I recognized because I was just snorkeling in where did I say? In Bonaire in the Caribbean. And I saw it alive. And of course, this has been dead for a long time, but it's absolutely beautiful. You can see the ridges on it, and it feels nice, and it brings back all kinds of memories of my various snorkelings around the world.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. And you can place it anywhere in the middle or back. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a piece, it looks like petrified tree stump. So I guess the sense I have when it comes to anything with trees is grounding. I feel very grounded when I'm in nature because that to me is how I connect with everything else, not just people, but animals, plants, everything, because I think we're all connected. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think this is also petrified wood. Yeah, and it's an amazing sensory experience because it feels like a rock in many ways. It feels solid as a rock, but I can still smell the wood just a little bit, which is wild because this has been petrified for quite some time, I would imagine. Yeah, so that's amazing.
Thank you so much. And
So that's a little taste of what we'll be doing a little bit later. Thank you so much to our volunteers.
reading this morning before we do our offering, and I thought it was very appropriate for this moment in time for all of us. It's by Jessica Lynn, and it's called We Make It Possible. I come on Sunday feeling weary, having worn out the snooze button on my alarm clock. I come on Sunday feeling frightened, having seared my eyes reading the latest news. I come on Sunday feeling burdened, having fretted about my workday worries. But I leave Sunday service feeling refreshed, being renewed by the spirit of love in the community that exists here. I leave Sunday service feeling whole, feeling lifted up by the words of righteous challenge. I leave Sunday service feeling energized, ready to continue our fight for peace and justice. This haven, this refuge, this place of worship and wonder exists because we make it so, with our contributions, the gifts of our time, our skills, our food, our love, our laughter, and our money. Let us join in giving so that we may continue to have a place that fortifies and challenges us in these trying and troubled times. We'll now receive our offering while we listen to our music minister.
Seems everybody's taking pills to help them feel better, when even sunshine feels like stormy weather. There's got to be a better way. And time is speeding up, and cars and trucks rule the world today. Just try to take that away, no way. There's got to be a better way. And there's not enough money, not enough time, not enough glasses in a bottle of wine. It's not about the money, it's not about the time, it's all about the glasses and the bottle of wine. There's got to be a better way. And anyway, yeah, why do I have to drive a car that runs on gasoline? And I want to drive a car, but I want to drive a car that does not pollute from the cradle to the grave and set my grandchildren free. This is supposed to be democracy, voices of you and me. There's got to be a better way. And there's not enough money, not enough time, not enough glasses in a bottle of wine. When it's not about the money, it's not about the time, it's all about the glasses and the bottle of wine. It's got to be a better way. Set our grandchildren free, give them clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. Everybody's got a right to these things. Think solutions are everywhere. Big money doesn't care about you and me. There's got to be a better way. Enough money, not enough time, not enough glasses in a bottle of wine. When it's It's not about the money, it's not about the time, it's all about the glasses and the bottle of wine. There's got to be a better way. Set our grandchildren free.
Your gifts and support of our ministries to one another and to the community are appreciated. Thank you. We now settle in for a brief meditation, followed by a time in communal silence. When Rachel begins to play music, you're welcome to come up and light a candle of joy or concern. This morning, I'm going to share an experience that I had personally, and it changed how I see the world. Some of you may have had a similar experience, and for others, I hope you'll be able to share in some small part of it. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels safe to you while I share my story. One morning, I was lying in bed with my eyes still closed, slowly coming awake when I found myself listening to my own breathing. As I felt the air entering my nose and then leaving my body, I became aware of my two cats who were sleeping on the bed with me. I could hear one of them snoring gently. For a few minutes, I lay quietly breathing in communion with them, the three of us slowly breathing in and out. Then I heard a bird chirping in a tree outside my window, and I thought, that creature is breathing just as I am, taking in the precious oxygen that enables her to sing so beautifully. Then, in one stupendous moment, I felt kinship with the entire animal kingdom, all the furred and feathered and flippered ones, from robins to raccoons, from dogs, seals, and cows, to turtles, squirrels, and sheep, as well as every other human animal. All of us breathing in unison the world over. But what struck me next was equally powerful. Each of our breaths are made possible by the trees outside my window and all the green forests and grasslands around the planet that take in our exhalations and convert them to the oxygen that allows me and all of my fellow animals to live. As we breathe out, the plants breathe in. As the plants breathe out, we breathe in. I gloried in this realization, thinking, we truly do live on a Goldilocks planet, a miracle of balance on this beautiful world we call home. I breathed in with joy, and I breathed out with thanks. We come now to a time in our service when we affirm the ways that we are connected in this life, as we live into the truth that what affects one of us affects us all. In the spirit of community care, let us open our hearts to one another and all that we hold sacred. We have no sorrows to report today, and we know that sometimes sorrows within us are too tender to share. But just know that we hold all of you in this space today with the reminder that we are never alone. We do have one joy this morning, and that is that it's Reverend Danny's birthday. And she's taking a well-deserved weekend off, and she's celebrating with her mom, who has come from the West. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. She's celebrating with their mom. They are celebrating with their mom, who has come from the West. So shall we sing happy birthday to Danny? And just know that if you do have a joy or sorrow that you would like to share with the community, you can either go online and enter it online, or there is a book over here at the entrance to the sanctuary where you can write it out by hand. So now I'll ask Kari and Kim to come up for their main presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for welcoming us here today. Kim and I hope that this is the beginning of an ongoing relationship. We're really enjoying this service and we hope to come back. You have a member of your congregation, Sandy Lambert, who has joined our Eco-Wisdom community. So please know that if you wish to foster a deeper connection with Eco-Wisdom, you can reach out to her or us directly. And we'll also have a table out at coffee time, and we'll have some videos silently playing as well. So please continue the conversation afterwards. Eco-Wisdom is a social enterprise run largely for and by people with disabilities and chronic illness. We foster mind, body, soul well-being through the use of mindful nature connection, otherwise referred to as forest bathing. We encourage innovative applications of nature-based contemplative practice to offer resiliency and peer support to those who are engaged in social and environmental activism. As an Eco-Wisdom community, we emphasize the use of these practices to care for ourselves, one another in community, and the earth. Eco-wisdom's values and principles are very much in keeping with those of the Unitarian Church to nurture each other, serve the community, and inspire action that heals the world. As we explore the theme of this talk, finding place and purpose through mindful nature connection, Kim will first ground us in a brief nature-based contemplative practice. Next, I will share a personal story. Then we will share real-life quotes. And finally, we will share a video of disabled participants engaging in an Eco-Wisdom's accessible nature well-being program.
Hi. We'll take a few minutes, and I'm hoping that everyone has a piece of nature with them. And if they don't, you can grab something up here, whatever's comfortable for you. And it's going to take a moment to open up our senses with our piece of nature. So I'd like to first, just to let you know, there have been numerous peer-reviewed studies about the gifts that we breathe in while we are in nature, particularly amongst the trees, but with any plants. There are phytoncides that are, they're airborne chemicals that are released from trees and plants. And when we breathe these in, our bodies respond in some wonderful ways. First of all, our cortisol levels or our stress hormones drop. And so that allows us to be more relaxed, and it'll actually enhance our mood. There's also, in addition, the phytoncides increase the activity of our white blood cells. So every time you breathe in nature, you get a little boost to your immune system. So there's all these wonderful scientific things that are happening along with what we naturally know about what we feel when we're in nature. So I'd like to invite you to take a moment to either close your eyes or lower your gaze, and know that you can open your eyes anytime. Please just take a few moments to feel the rhythm of your own breath. You don't need to change anything. You're just noticing your own breath. You might feel the supports around you, the support of the chair at your back or underneath your legs, the support of the floor underneath you and the ground underneath that. Take a moment to just imagine the muscles around your forehead relaxing and maybe letting go. And to feel the muscles around your eyes relax. And now I invite you to gently open your eyes or raise your gaze to look at your piece of nature that you're holding with fresh eyes. Take in like it's something you've never seen before. You may notice details like color or shape. Now we're going to open our senses a bit more and indulge not just our visual sense, but our sense of smell as well. I invite you, if you are able, to bring your piece of nature up to your nose and take in the scent of your piece of nature. If that is uncomfortable in any way, you could also take this time to imagine what this small piece of nature would smell like in its natural surroundings. Allow the scent or the memory of this scent and the visual to seep into your body and mind. And just take a few more moments and we'll gently come back to where we are in the room together. And Kari will take the next piece. Oh, and I just wanted to say during our little talk, if at any time you want to take a moment to ground with your piece of nature and just recede, please take that time.
My hope is that my personal story that I'll be sharing with you today will help you to understand the origins and community-based evolution of both our 200 plus acre eco-wisdom forest preserve and our eco-wisdom programs and training. While I was working as a professor of disability studies and a health researcher, the microphones.
Hello. Hello.
Testing, testing, testing. That's working. Oh, testing. Is this more consistent or am I cutting out? I'm cutting, aren't I? This way? I've been in a lot of different churches and community groups, and boy, this is a wonderful coordinated effort. Yeah. Testing, testing. All right. Oh, that feels better. Yeah. So I'm going to just start the little first blurb again, okay? All right. So I'm hoping that the sharing of my personal story will help you to understand the origins and the community-based evolution of both our 200-acre plus eco-wisdom forest preserve and our eco-wisdom programs and trainings. While I was working as a professor of disability studies and a health researcher affiliated with the Canadian Institutes of Health Research and the WHO, I went from living with a managed chronic illness to suddenly acquiring a severe disability, leaving me reliant upon a wheelchair for mobility and personal support workers to assist me in activities of daily living. As a result of this, I understand disability, inside and out. I have conducted hundreds of research interviews with disabled individuals, helped to develop international disability policy, engaged in the operations of community-based disability organizations, and lived the daily challenges associated with navigating physical, social, and systemic barriers. One key moment in my healing journey was when I sustained injuries from a car accident. At that point, my specialist told me that I was at risk of a complete relapse. I had spent years slowly healing and relearning how to walk. This is when I paused to discern what I truly needed in order to heal. Not rejecting medical intervention, I started going on week-long silent retreats in nature every 4 to 6 weeks, and I did this for about 5 years, mostly using a forest hermitage. I believe these regular contemplative nature retreats prevented my relapse and helped me to recover from a concussion. Now, it was through deep spiritual work that I came to a place of self-acceptance as I moved towards a feeling of wholeness rather than rejecting my body and its visible and non-visible disabilities. My healing journey required attention to mind, to body, and soul. And this led me to complete a 2-year training with Ontario Jubilee as an interfaith spiritual accompaniment, and another 2 years training as a mindfulness meditation teacher. One key characteristic of my experience with disability has been chronic pain. Specifically, my migraine pain incapacitated me for about 60% of the time, and my migraines could last up to 9 days at a time. Once I moved to the Eco-Wisdom Forest Preserve, where I have now lived for about 5 years off-grid as a forest contemplative, I experienced a dramatic reduction in my pain. And this opened the opportunity to build and create and nurture and grow eco-wisdom. As I healed, I found myself in a place where I could reintegrate interests from my former life as a health researcher and professor of disability studies. I reviewed the forest medicine research literature and developed an innovative approach to accessible forest bathing that could be used online or in person. Engaging in contemplative practices with the land remains essential. And this is why we ground our work in gratitude for the flowing waters, the wise trees, the comforting moss, the ancient stone, and the wild roaming moose of the Eco-Wisdom Forest Preserve, located upon the unceded territory of the Algonquin peoples. Now, during the pandemic, the early days of the pandemic, I was contacted by a dear friend of mine. He runs a disability organization in BC. He was describing the extraordinarily high level of stress that he was experiencing as its executive director, the staff, most of whom live with disabilities, and the 500 members across British Columbia who live with disabilities, how extraordinarily stressful the pandemic had become. And I shared my experience of finding resiliency through mindful nature connection and also what the research indicated. Then we conducted a pilot program, and his staff and representatives from other disability organizations. When we conducted this pilot, we found that it was effective. And this community-based process sparked the start of Eco-Wisdom's accessible programs and training. Specifically, we offer an accessible nature well-being programs that are both 1.5 and 2.5 hours long, online and in person, that use the Eco-Wisdom model. And this incorporates things like embodiment, mystery, creativity, mindfulness, and specific practices shown in research to be effective, drawing upon neuroscience and forest medicine. We also offer, I have my eye on you, Sandy, a 6-month certification training in nature and forest therapy guiding, right? And this is an accessible training program, and it's offered online with lots of online live interaction. We use a social justice, a disability justice framework, and the social model of disability, and we invite all people, whether disabled or not, to join us if they have a specific interest in making forest bathing programming accessible and inclusive of those who experience discrimination related to disability, race, sexual orientation, or gender identity. And we are excited to announce that in the near future, we will be moving forward in offering on-demand courses in areas of our particular expertise, including spiritual care through contemplative nature connection, accessible, inclusive, and trauma-informed forest bathing, nature-based mindfulness and meditation, and using forest bathing to foster resiliency for activism. And I invite you just to take a little bit of a pause, maybe connect with your greenery. We're going to have a little bit of sharing now of some quotes from direct quotes from our participants. We always like to include these voices as much as we can directly and whenever we're doing a presentation. So these quotes are from disabled program participants and nature guide trainees. Many of these quotes are from 3 university-affiliated studies completed which document the physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being benefits of ecowisdom's programs. Some quotes are from nature connection programs that we have led for faith groups, and others are from our nature guide graduation ceremony that we held in December. These quotes will highlight the way that our work is consistent with the Unitarian Church's principles. Researchers have found many general well-being benefits among our program participants.
So the first quote is, "What stood out for me was the sense of community created. By the end of the walk, I felt calmer, relaxed, grateful, and inspired. As a result of this, I will be even more mindful anytime I am outside walking." Another participant said, "I'm just more happy."
While some nature guide training programs steer away from spirituality, we embrace it as a central part of overall well-being. Our use of contemplative communication and in our sharing circles allows our participants to express their spiritual experiences.
"The mystery in it is profound to me. The beauty is so complete. I'm completely mystified. I would say that there's some spirituality in it for me." And loved the ritual and ceremony at the start and end. There was a physiological shift of calm, more relaxed, far less stressed. I want to share with others that forest bathing is a way of moving through life. It's that soul nourishing and transformative.
Disabled participants of Ecowisdom's accessible nature well-being programs describe how the experience fostered their sense of inherent worth and dignity.
"Nature has always just allowed me to be who I am." I was looking at lots of trees, and there was one tiny tree, and I thought, "You're little, but you're just as important. Here you are with all the rest, and that's completely fine. I don't have to be a big tree. I can be a little tree. I have a place too."
Our program participants also describe their experiences as it relates to justice, equity, and human relations.
"It improves self-esteem just by being acknowledged and validated. People with visible, significant disabilities often feel like we stand out in a crowd. The facilitator helped everyone to feel free of judgment, common perceptions, and assumptions about disability. Regardless of religion and other beliefs, everyone and everything feels welcome."
Program participants described a deepening respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which they are a part.
More of a connection with all things, whether it's a tree, a squirrel. I even stopped to look at different animals in the eye now. And watching that little trickle, I just imagined it connected to the oceans. I love the tiny things, but imagining them with the whole. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I see that I'm part of the whole.
Our Ecowisdom Nature Guide graduates speak about how this understanding of interdependence then supports individual and communal actions that can dismantle systemic barriers for full inclusion in ourselves and our institutions.
We are part of nature. This guide training program supports this integration. We feel a safety, a sense of community and reciprocity, not just with each other, but also with the plants, the animals, the sea, and the sky. We learn not to just barge in and consume it or exploit it or discard it. With this reciprocity, we're also learning skills so that we can actually reach out and share with each other, and the community grows out like ripples in whatever we do. Having this eco-wisdom as a heart place to go from is something to be celebrated. I'm very grateful.
And finally, we would like to leave you with a quote that illustrates the title of this talk, Finding Place and Purpose. These are the words of an Eco-Wisdom Nature and Forest Therapy Guide graduate, an Indigenous woman who lives with a spinal cord injury. She is now a member of the core Eco-Wisdom leadership team.
I feel grateful. I never thought that joining this group at the beginning of the year and everything that I've learned, you know just how touched I would be, how much community I would feel in the end. I actually sat with my family yesterday and just discussed this whole course in light of our graduation. I just marked 30 years of being in this wheelchair through my car accident. In all these years, I can honestly say I haven't felt as included, as accepted, and as loved. Eco-Wisdom is just such a great, amazing group of like-minded people. I often feel in all the years and some of the training that I've done that I'm just slightly on the outside, always the big wheelchair in the group. I'm the one that they're making accommodations for. The Eco-Wisdom Nature Guide training has been beautiful. I can't even express how nice it's been. I'm so excited about the future. This has been the best thing that happened to me. We're all just going to be a team together, and I can't wait. I really can't wait.
And now we will share a video that illustrates the ways that our participants engage in mindful forest bathing outside and indoors during an accessible nature wellbeing program. This one took place in Vancouver. These nature connection practices nurture participants' connection with themselves, others, and spirituality. Thank you so much for inviting us here, and feel free to visit us at our table. We have a few postcard mementos from Eco-Wisdom, photographs taken on the land we'd love to share with you, and we'd love to hear from you about a special experience you might have had in nature. So let's continue with the dialogue.
Well, that was just terrific. Thank you very much. We have one more hymn, number 1066 in the Teal hymn book, called "O Brother Sun."
Oh, brother sun, you bring us light, all shining around in fiery might. Oh, sister moon, you heal and bless. Your beauty shines in tenderness. Oh, brother wind, you sweep the hills, your mighty breath both freshens and fills. Oh, sister water, you cleanse and flow through rivers and streams in ice and snow. Oh, brother fire, you warm our night with all your dancing colored light. Oh, sister earth, you feed all things, all birds and all creatures, all scales and wings. Oh, sister death, you meet us here and take us to our God so near. Oh, God of life, we give you praise for all your creatures, for all your ways.
I have one announcement before I give the benediction. After the service, in addition to Kari and Kim being out in the lobby, there'll be a meeting in room 9 for anybody who's a newcomer to the church, or if you want to meet with someone and get to know the newcomers, meet in room 9. Our benediction this morning is written by Israel Bafardi, and it's called Universal Rhythm. My friends, when you go out from here, know that our hearts are always in a holy place, for we are always connected to one another. Know that deep down our hearts beat in one universal rhythm. May we each find the sacred space to hear it. I'll extinguish the chalice right now, but not the fire in our hearts until we meet again. Welcome, Marianne, for the close look.
Feel free to sing. There's a line that says drive-through coffee. It's just fun when everybody does that. George will lead you. My brother works in a factory, making cars for salary. They've got a pool, kids and a dog, a pleasant life in suburbia. We'll close a factory down, what would they do? What would he do? Well, cities are built around industry, wages support families. Yeah, yeah. Close the factories down, what would they do? What would I do? I'm thinking while I'm driving around in my brand new car, wearing brand new clothes and drinking drive-through coffee. Oh, take 'em away, what would we do? What would you do? We got factory farms making factory food, and we're being fed factory news. Yeah, yeah. Nobody's buying handmade no more. We're all shopping in big box stores. Yeah, yeah. Close the factories down, what would they do? What would we do? I'm thinking while I'm driving around in my brand new car, wearing brand new clothes and drinking drive-through coffee. Oh, take 'em away, what would we do? What would we do? Well, our children will be left to save the world from what we leave 'em behind. And if humanity is on the brink of destruction, what would they do? What could we do? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do right now? Oh, well, I'm driving around in my brand new car, wearing brand new clothes and drinking drive-through coffee.